same sky, the same clouds, the same dirt, the same ground. We all live and die on the same song, the same beat, the same car, the same street. We run down our dreams on. And we're lost and we're found, we're up and we're down. We're all just American crazy. We're left and we're right, and we're black and we're white. We're all just American crazy. Just American crazy. Straight A's and dropouts up north or down south. We all bleed the same blood. Paycheck to paycheck, sun up to sunset. We're lovers and leavers, and we're sinners and believers. And we're lost, we're found, we're up and we're down. We're all just American crazy. We're left and we're right, and we're black and we're white. We're all just American crazy. Same tune, same town, same school, same crowd. Same fight for the home team, same love, same dream. We're lost and we're found, we're up and we're down. We're all just American crazy. We're left, we're right, we're black and we're white. We're all just American crazy. We're lost and we're found, we're up and we're down. We're left and we're right, we're black and we're white. We're all just American crazy. Yeah, we're all just American crazy.
Got a baby girl sleeping in my bedroom and her mama laughing in my arms. There's the sound of rain on the rooftop and the game's about to start. I don't really know how I got here, but I'm so glad that I did. And it's crazy to think that one little thing could have changed all of this. Maybe it didn't turn out like I planned. Maybe that's why I'm such a lucky man. For every stoplight I didn't make, every chance I did or I didn't take, all the nights I went too far, all the girls that broke my heart, all the doors that I had to close, all the things I knew but I didn't know. Thank God for all I missed, 'cause it led me here to this. Like the girl that I loved in high school, who said she could do better, or the college I wanted to go to till I got that letter. All the fights and the tears and the heartache I thought I'd never get through, and the moment I almost gave up all led me here to you. I didn't understand it way back when, but sitting here right now, it all makes perfect sense. Every stoplight I didn't make, every chance I did or I didn't take, all the nights I went too far, all the girls that broke my heart, all the doors that I had to close, all the things I knew but I didn't know. Thank God for all I missed, 'cause it led me into this. Now I got an angel looking out for me today. So nothing's a mistake. Every stoplight I didn't make, every chance I did or I didn't take, all the nights I went too far, all the girls that broke my heart, all the doors that I had to close, everything I knew but I didn't know. Thank God for all I missed, 'cause it led me to this. There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Well, and if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say.
I know that we can.
I know darn well we can work it out. Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it work. I know we can make it if we try.
Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can.
Great gosh almighty.
Oh, yes, we can. I know we can.
And we gotta take care of all the children, the little children of the world. 'Cause they're our strongest hope for the future, the little bitty boys and girls. We got to
Make this land a better land than the world in which we live.
And we gotta help each man be a better man with the kindness that we give.
I know we can make it.
I know that we can.
I know darn well we can work it out. Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it work. I know that we can make it if we try.
Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can.
Great gosh almighty.
Yes, we can. I know we can. I know we can make it.
I know we can.
I know darn well we can work it out. Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it work. I know we can make it if we try.
Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can.
Great gosh almighty.
Yes, we can. I know we can.
We can make it, y'all.
Yes, we can. I know we
Oh,
can.
yeah, we can make it,
Oh, why
y'all.
can't we if we
Oh,
want to? Yes, we can.
only try.
Yes, we can. I know we
Yeah,
can.
yeah, we can make it,
Oh, why
y'all.
can't we if we want to?
Sometimes it's hard.
Yes, we can. I know we can.
Sometimes it's
Yes, we
hard.
can. Oh, why can't we if we want to?
Sometimes it's hard.
Yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it.
I know that we can.
I know darn well
We can work it out. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to get together? We can work it
I
out.
know we can make it.
I know that we can.
I know darn well we can work
We
it
can
out.
work it out. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to get together? We can work it out. I know we can make it. I know that we can. I know darn well we can work it out. Work it out.
Hard to raise a children like you ought to do. That's what it's all about. Don't you know we can work it out?
I
I think I'll take a moment, celebrate my age, the ending of an era and the turning of a page. Now it's time to focus in on where I go from here. Lord, have mercy on my next 30 years. In my next 30 years, I'm gonna have some fun. Try to forget about all the crazy things I've done. Maybe now I've conquered all my adolescent fears, and I'll do it better in my next 30 years. My next 30 years, I'm gonna settle all the scores. Cry a little less, laugh a little more. Find a world of happiness without the hate and fear. Figure out just what I'm doing here in my next 30 years. Here we go. All right. For my next 30 years, I'm gonna watch my weight, eat a few more salads, and not stay up so late. Drink a little lemonade and not so many beers. Maybe I'll remember my next 30 years. My next 30 years will be the best years of my life. Raise a little family and hang out with my wife. Spend precious moments with the ones that I hold dear. Make up for lost time here in my next 30 years. In my next 30 years. Oh, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, here we go, boys.
She broke down and let me in. Made me see where I've been. Been down one time, been down two times. Never going back again.
How's everybody doing this evening? Woo! Are you ready to win the era? Woo. Now, before I start with my brief remarks, as you heard, there was, I think, some technological glitch in transmitting data from one place to the next. But I can tell you right now, if it was a broadband issue, under Pete Buttigieg's plan for rural America, we're going to take care of that broadband problem. So listen, Iowa, it's wonderful to be with you tonight to celebrate this movement that we've have across the Hawkeye State and now is about to ripple across America. It's been so invigorating and encouraging watching you here in Iowa assume that important responsibility, a very difficult decision. You took it seriously, and tonight you got the job done. So recently I had an opportunity about 3 weeks ago to announce my endorsement for the next president of the United States, Pete Buttigieg. And just like you, I took that job, that responsibility seriously. In less than a year, we'll have the opportunity to choose the leader who will make us stronger at home and abroad. I spent 3 decades in uniform in the Army and the Army Reserve. I currently sit on the House Armed Services Committee. And I know that Pete brings a very deep intellect and experience, grounded in his time in a war zone. He understands the global challenges that we face. The lessons he took from Afghanistan shape his understanding of America's role in the world and make him uniquely suited for this moment. Pete will bring that same leadership to make us stronger here at home. For the past 8 years, he has stressed and steered a diverse, working-class industrial city into a brighter, more prosperous future. That would be South Bend, wouldn't it? Yeah, South Bend, Indiana. A city that was written off years ago as dying, if not dead, today is striving. It is striving. And you're going to hear more about that from Gladys Muhammad. But what excites me greatly is that when it comes to advocating for and empowering communities of color, like the ones that I represent in Maryland, Pete made hard-fought progress in South Bend in the African-American community. But he understands that much more work remains, and there are no easy solutions to ingrained problems. I can't tell you how proud I am to join you, a movement across Iowa and America, a movement, people who are yearning for change, not that change that is rooted in Washington, but that change that is bubbling up in communities across America. And I'm honored tonight to introduce to you a longtime leader in South Bend. Some call her a living legend. She's a community leader, a civic activist, and when I asked Gladys Muhammad, well, tell me about the real Pete, she said, well, Pete, he's honest and he's cool. So I present to you Miss Muhammad.
Thank you, Congressman Brown. Hello, Iowa. This is the first time I've been here, and it's a warm, friendly place to be. I had a friend that used to tell stories, and one of her stories would be, looking good, you sure enough looking good. Good for Pete. My name is Gladys Muhammad, and I have 30 years of experience working in the neighborhoods, working with grassroots and grassroots to improve our communities. My role was coming up with strategies and activities to engage people in that process, to help them make decisions about their own lives and their own communities. Instead of complaining all the time, to come together and help do something for yourselves in our neighborhoods. Somewhere along the line, I met Pete Buttigieg. And Pete became my friend and my ally in working in the neighborhoods. We looked at issues of crime, drugs, violence, and all kinds of things, neighborhood revitalization, affordable housing, and all kinds of things that happened in neighborhoods all around this country. And Pete was there. I said, "Hey, Pete, you gonna help me?" And he said, "Yes, I am." I did not have to ask twice. People in South Bend and the national press have a narrative to say blacks in South Bend don't support Pete Buttigieg. Here I am, blackened and proud. With the Martin Luther King celebration every year for 8 years. This year he missed it, but guess what? We had 971 people at a breakfast. We had 111 tables. Pete is there every year. He just missed this year. But that's because he was campaigning in the Carolinas, a place he needed to be. Pete has changed street signs. We have a Martin Luther King Boulevard now running straight through the heart of town, not on a little block in the neighborhood. We have Black History programs where people who have not been recognized, that have had commitments to South Bend, Indiana, Pete has recognized those people. They've been on billboards throughout our city so that we know that African Americans in South Bend contribute to the life and success of our community. Pete Buttigieg did that. A couple years ago, Pete and his administration put $4 million into a center on the far west side of town called the Charles Black Recreation Center. I grew up in that center. When I grew up, it was a city dump. And now I'm so proud of that center. It's right there, look like all the cities, all the community recreation throughout the city, in the neighborhood, and I'm very proud of that. And to Pete, I didn't come here to disrespect any Democrats running to get in the White House. I came here to support Pete Buttigieg for the White House. Pete is the candidate for us to vote for, to occupy that White House. He has the skills, he has the courage, he has the integrity, and to run for that White House and win, and we need all of you to help him win. In the words of Ella Baker from Sweet Honey on the Rock, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it's won. And Pete Buttigieg gonna help us win. When black people do what it is that they have to do, when discrimination is put behind us, we can win all over this country and take the White House back. I want to introduce you to our candidate, our blacks do love and we do support, and that is Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a night. Because tonight, an improbable hope became an undeniable reality. So we don't know all the results. But we know by the time it's all said and done, Iowa, you have shocked the nation. Because by all indications, we are going on to New Hampshire victorious. You know, 1 year ago, it was in the deep freeze of an Iowa January where we began this unlikely journey to win the American presidency. We weren't well known, but we had a new idea. The idea that at this moment when Washington has never felt further from our everyday lives, a middle-class mayor from the American Midwest could carry the voices of the American people all the way to the American Capitol and make sure they're actually heard. We had the belief that in the face of exhaustion and cynicism and division, in spite of every trampled norm and every poisonous tweet, that a rising majority of Americans was hungry for action and ready for new answers. We could see an American majority yearning for leadership to rally us together behind bold ideas to make a difference in our lives. We saw that Americans were ready to come together, but our politics were not. And to seize this moment, we needed a new path forward, a path that welcomed people instead of pushing them away, brought them together instead of driving them apart, because this is our best and maybe our last shot. We knew that with this American majority, we are on the cusp of changing the game for ordinary Americans, but that we could not win or govern if we wrote people off who didn't agree with us 100% of the time. But that if we could come together, the future that we know is possible would start on January 21st, 2021. Skeptics, an awful lot of skeptics, who said, not now, not this time. All this talk of belonging and of bridging divides is too naive, too risky. So tonight I say with a heart full of gratitude, Iowa, you have proved those skeptics wrong. By your effort, and it was by your effort, we brought together an extraordinary coalition of Americans, progressives, moderates, and that good number of what we like to call future former Republicans. And that's how we're going to win in November. Because it's about adding people to our cause, adding to our majority. That is how we will guarantee that on the day Donald Trump leaves office, we'll be ready to move America forward into the era that must come next. I want to thank every member of our campaign family, every organizer, every volunteer, every caucus goer who talked to a neighbor or a coworker, every staff member and every supporter who believed. And anyone who shares our vision can join the 750,000 grassroots supporters fueling our movement and chip in right now at PeteForAmerica.com. And while we're at it, I want to recognize a few other people who helped us get to this night. My mother, who not only helped raise me, but put her love of language to work answering letters sent to our campaign. My father, who left us just in the very early days of this journey, but whose own journey to this country made tonight possible in the first place. And to the love of my life, keeping my feet on the ground, how about a hand for the future First Gentleman of the United States? Let's hear it for Chastity. also want to congratulate my fellow Democratic competitors in this diverse and formidable field. For months, we have been having an honest and respectful but vigorous debate about the course of our party and the future of this nation. And tonight, Iowa chose a new path. From river to river, in churches and community centers and high school gyms, you joined your neighbors to say that the time has come to turn the page and open up a new chapter in the American story. You chose to move on not just from the broken policies of these last few years, but the broken politics that got us here. And tomorrow, because of what we did here, the nation will have that choice too. We take our message onward to New Hampshire, which has a way of making up its own mind, to Nevada, to South Carolina, and beyond to every corner of America. And as we do, we will be building the movement that not only will win the election against Donald Trump, but win the era for our shared values. We have exactly one shot to defeat Donald Trump. And we're not going to do it by overreaching. We're not going to do it by division. We're not going to do it by saying it's my way or the highway. This is our shot, our only shot to galvanize an American majority to win. And make no mistake, ours is the campaign that will defeat this president. A president who cuts taxes for corporations while crushing the rights of workers to organize ought to have to compete with a middle-class mayor who entered politics fighting for auto workers and actually lives and works in the industrial Midwest. A president who tries to cloak himself and his wrongdoing in religion should have to debate a candidate not afraid to remind America that God does not belong to a political party. And a president who avoided serving when it was his turn should have to stand next to a veteran ready to show what troops deserve from a real commander-in-chief. Now, this president may get a pass on the floor of the Senate, but this November, the verdict will be up to us. And when I'm your nominee, we will win big enough to send not just Donald Trump's presidency, but Trumpism itself into the dustbin of history where it belongs. Something is stirring in America right now. You can feel it. We saw it tonight in the bluest counties and the reddest, in rural towns and industrial cities, in big communities and small, and the suburbs in between. We're seeing Democrats hungry to win, independent voters who had been turned off by our politics, Republicans tired of trying to look their kids in the eye and explain this presidency, all standing together. And all standing together to declare that we are defined not by who we voted for in the past, but by what we're voting for in the future. This is the coalition that no pundit saw coming. And it's the coalition the president won't see coming either. It's a majority we're assembling to agree not just on who we're against, but on what we are for. We are unifying a rising American majority ready to raise wages and empower workers in this fast-changing economy. A majority ready and determined to put an end to endless war. A majority committed to bringing about a day in America where your race has no bearing on your health, your wealth, your access to education, or your relationship with law enforcement. A majority of Americans ready to support our teachers with a president and a Secretary of Education who believe in public education. Those Americans are counting on us to come together and act, and they cannot wait. I've met Americans not even yet old enough to vote, but who know that we cannot wait. An 11-year-old asking how his family will be able to afford the insulin he needs. He can't wait for a president who will ensure there is no such thing as an uninsured American or an unaffordable prescription. The 14-year-old who let me know she's already written out a basic will because she's terrified the next day in school could be her last. Cannot wait for a president who will see to it that she can walk into her school free of fear. The 10-year-old who let me know he expects to be around in 2100 and look back at whether we acted fast enough to secure his future. He cannot wait for a president prepared to enlist every American in the fight for our climate. We are running for them. This campaign is giving voice to them, and it has room for everyone, because no matter who you voted for in elections past, and for that matter, no matter who you caucused for tonight, we welcome you in our campaign, and you belong in the future that we are building for America. Whether you're a young woman with autism in Muscatine or a veteran battling addiction in Claremont, you belong. Whether you clean hotel rooms in Las Vegas or are getting a new business up and running in Charleston, you belong. I believe the presidency has a purpose. And the purpose of our American presidency is not the glorification of the president. It is the unification and the empowerment to the American people to solve these big problems. America has a place for everyone. And I believe this not because of my age, but because of my experience. I believe in American unity because of my experience serving, of lacing up my boots in the dust of a war zone alongside Americans so different we hardly had anything in common besides a flag on our shoulders, yet learned to trust each other with our lives.
Thank you.
I believe in American boldness because of my experience governing, guiding a city once called dying out of the shadows of our empty factories and into a brighter future. And I believe in American belonging because of an experience you are part of right here tonight. Looking out at you and remembering how it felt to be an Indiana teenager, wondering if he would ever belong in this world. Wondering if something deep inside him meant that he would forever be an outsider, that he might never wear the uniform, never be accepted, never even know love. And now that same person is standing in front of you, a mayor, a veteran, happily married, and one step closer to becoming the next president of the United States. That is the America we are building. That is the America so many Iowans chose tonight. If you are ready to build an American life defined by belonging, this is our chance. If you're ready to build an American politics defined by boldness, this is our chance. And if you are ready to build an American future defined by unity in the face of our greatest challenges, this is our chance. So with hope in our hearts and fire in our bellies, we're going on to New Hampshire, on to the nomination, and on to chart a new course for this country that we love. Thank you. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Come on, the rising wind. We're going